SmashFactor.
Terrific driver, going for it. Oh my goodness, how about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody and happy Memorial Day evening to everyone out there. This is what we'll call the love episode 69 of the SmashFactor, the 2019 Memorial Tournament. A little bit different Monday. Everybody's probably off, or most are off here in the U.S. Got to spend more time with your family this weekend, try to recharge the batteries. I personally didn't watch a lot of this tournament this week. Had some prior plans and was spending time with the wife and kids, well-deserved time for them. Been away for many months without doing a lot with them, so we kind of took a few days to relax and enjoy the time. First and foremost, we want to thank all the military out there that serve our country or have served our country, and their families especially. We appreciate all that you guys do for us. Gups Corner is strong behind supporting the military as well as many are, but any of you guys that you or your families that help us out there, we appreciate it very much. Tonight's show is brought to you by some sponsors and affiliates. Go to Thrive Fantasy app and use the promo code GUP, and you will receive $10 free with your first deposit of $20. Deposit bonus is for a limited time offer, so get the money while you can. We'll be hot and heavy on that, especially once football season comes around. They are working on adding golf to their app, their platform as well, so that'll be exciting for us when that gets added, but we'll be all over the football in the fall. Fanshare Sports, use the code GUP and get 20% off the Pro Advantage. Lot of platform changes for them, add-ons, content additions, obviously well known for their ownership, tags, good partners of ours, been one of our original partners. So go use the word GUP there and you get 20% off. The original affiliate for us, fantasynational.com. Go to fantasynational.com/GUP or go to our affiliates page, and all these links and codes are on there. It's easy, just click it and use it there. You get 20% off Fantasy National. It's exclusive to Gups Corner listeners and followers. Recently had a price increase there, so this 20% gets you back to where we were before the price increase. So that's nice and moves to do for us. As always, rate and review us on iTunes, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. We will have a huge announcement next Monday for our prize pack for the U.S. Open. So tune in for that, as we're just a couple weeks away from the third major. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be big, probably our biggest prize pack ever. And this Saturday, June 1st, our U.S. Open shirts will go on sale. We'll have posts of all that on at Gups Corner on Twitter. JB and Bucks work together with Nate. Putting these together. They're awesome. The Slack channel got a little preview of what they're going to look like, but we will be posting that this week, previewing it, and sales will go on sale Saturday with estimated shipping mid next week. So got a little more organized this time, so we'll get those fired out as soon as you guys buy them. Please pay attention to a special promo that'll benefit you if you buy one of those shirts for our huge prize pack. So we'll announce that Saturday as well. As always, here with Ruvy, and Bucks returns from the honeymoon week. You can find Ruvy at Michael Aruvalo, and you can find Bucks at BP Snow 11. Bucks, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, man. Having a good Memorial Day weekend. It's been good to kind of kick back, relax with the family, get some things done around the house. We celebrated my in-laws' 40th wedding anniversary yesterday with the fam. It was pretty cool. And then just hung out today and got to watch some golf the last few days, which was awesome. The tournament itself was sweet. Like, so much good golf Kevin Na playing fantastic, especially in the clutch. Anytime Finau's up there, I'm all about it. So it was awesome for me. I had 2K in on DraftKings, got 1,000 back, which the 1,000 came from a 3 of 6, and so that worked for me. And then did $1,200 basically in head-to-heads on FanDuel final day, won all of those. So I broke even for the week, which I was super pumped about after some big name missed cuts, the KCWD, all of that. So overall, I'm super pumped about last week, and I'm super pumped about this week. One of my favorite events of the year.
Ruvy, how you doing in Colorado?
Good. It's crazy weather here, but I actually work today too, but that's the perils of having your own business, I guess, sometimes, but that's fine. I enjoyed that tournament a lot last week. Didn't get to see a lot of Thursday and Friday, but I did have the Finau 40-1 first round leader. So that pretty much covered my whole week and some. I didn't play a lot on DraftKings, but I played 186, I think, and I got back 65. So it wasn't great. I got caught in the Casey bit a little bit. And then Rom, obviously. Rom hurt my best lineup. But all in all, it was a pretty good week. I had the Finau outright too, so it made me definitely pay attention more on Sunday. And then I tried to not hedge it. I just tried to see if I can get another action in there with Furyk a little bit later going into Sunday, and that didn't work out because Kevin Na was just too good. The shot that stuck out to me was that par 3 where he went right at it. I think it was like, is that 16 maybe or 14 or something like that, but he went right at it and I know it surprised Faldo even. So good for Kevin Na. He played really good. It's kind of nice to see him win. Even I had a lot of him in DraftKings, but like 4 or 6 teams. So, but it was all in all, it was a really good week. I was up a good amount because of that Finau first round leader. But how about you?
Yeah, it was I had a lot of 5 of 6 lineups where the 6th guy was either Rom or Casey. So, that's the breaks, as they would say. Nothing you can do about Casey. Obviously, we saw him in the hospital Friday night, I believe. So nothing to, laugh at or get pissed about. It is what it is. Rom, a little surprising. I thought it was a good spot for the bounce back. Miscut at the major, has played the course great the last 2 years. So that probably surprised me a little bit. Be interesting to kind of see where his season goes from here. He's playing solid at times, but kind of when you want to talk about elite, DJ, Rory, all those guys, I don't know if he's there. I no longer put him in that class as of yet. He's got to show me some more before I'm going to put him up in that 6 to 8 type guys, elite. He's not consistent enough for me. He's right there. He's not average by any means. He's got all the talent in the world, but he's got to figure some things out. Betting wise, I think it was my 4th or 5th 3-star of the year. Loses on 18, Hoagie versus Toms. I think I lost 4 matches on the week on the 18th hole, in which 3 of them I was leading with 3 holes to go when I was recapping a day. So shit happens, right? I had a strong Sunday, kept firing, got some of that back. So, we lost 8 stars or so. Did not have any not betting wise. Did have some DraftKings, but it was an okay week. Got swept in Showdown, bubbled all over the place. Main slate, got back about 50% of my entries. So definitely a losing week for me coming off the big week 2 weeks ago. Looking forward to this week. Strong tournament, strong field. Obviously, we'll get into the details of it shortly, but got some weather concerns. You got an elite field. You got a unique spot that now the major is 2 weeks away. So it's just a lot there to take in. Before we turn it over to Bucks for that, little shout outs for the week. Listener League winner, BChap71, Brett Chapman, 399.5. He had Casey, so shows you can still cash with having him. I did not, but good for him. Poulter, Sabs, Nah, Danny Lee, and Pan. So pretty solid team. And if Casey goes, and this would have been my story of the week too. If Casey plays, I mean that'd probably be a really solid team. Splosh 30. Won round 3 showdown GPP, finished second in round 4 showdown GPP, had a solid weekend for him. That was a theme in the community. I took last night off. I took basically all of yesterday off out of the chat and all that to dedicate to my wife and kids. But I caught up today, and it seemed like most of the community that kind of got screwed by the withdrawals or the missed cuts had pretty strong showdowns. So that was good. Knowles 426 won $600 round 4 showdown. Bagger Vance $375 on the weekend around 4 showdown. Nick Varn, who's a regular name atop anything Gups Corner, won 162 and 163 from head to heads, all $10 or less buy-ins. Other good winners: Hugger 99, ALS Warrior, our boy. He supports us well, and he's fighting a good battle. And we support him as well, and many wishes to him. Nino, Eli Dubs, and Brent P55, all winners this week. Before I turn over to Bucks, if you might have missed last week, took it off. This is a little bit bigger tournament. We switched up the format, or I did. I wanted to engage Ruvy and Bucks more and kind of take over the color. Last week flowed really well. Our goal is to be on to the new tournament within 10 minutes moving forward, and to have this pod done in 60 to 70 minutes each week. We have so much content that it's pointless for us to sit here and talk for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Major weeks aside, majors we get into a little bit more detail. But we're trying to be fast-paced, fast action, get you guys information, and get out of here so we don't bore you guys to death. So I kind of took the lead on that and let these guys be a little more informative. Bucks missed last week. We're glad to have him back because I suck ass at trying to do the course highlights and previews. So, Bucks, with that, why don't you kick off one of probably the strongest and best tournament of the year outside of a major or WGC. Take it over.
Yeah, I love this event. As a course fanatic, I love this event because of how well it's designed and how many different features around the golf course can really just get you if you don't have your A game. And we see that with the average winning score of 13 under. Last year, I think it was 15. But this week, we are playing Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio. 7,392 yards, par 72. So it's not a very long golf course when you consider par 72. Bethpage was 7,500 at par 70. And so with that score being 13 under on average, understanding it's a fairly short golf course by the tour standards, it has some teeth to it. So you have bent grass greens. They're 5,000 square feet, which is a little bit smaller than tour average. They do roll pretty quick. So they roll typically like at a 13 according to the GCSAA. Fairway width about 30 yards wide, and then the rough here is about 3 inches, and it's Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, fescue. Overall, this golf course, like I said, gives you a little bit of everything. You have water in 11 holes. You have extreme bunker complexes around these greens. The greens in itself are very undulating. And then most of all, the rough can be pretty gnarly here. And so a lot of players, they're fairly generous. I mean, 30 plus yards or so. But a lot of players hit these fairways, they club down. And so you're going to see a ton of fairways being hit this week. But again, those greens are gnarly. That being said, everybody listening, if you get a chance, go to the site and check out the breakdown I posted this morning. There is a ton of other information within that article. So check it out. You can read everything else, but let's get into the next category.
Bucks, what do you take on the weather for now? I looked it up a little earlier, but
yeah, what's funny is so I review the previous year's breakdown as I'm writing the current year's breakdown, and the weather was the exact same, like literally like day over day over day over day. You have thunderstorms Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, chance of rain on the weekends, and exact same thing. So for me, I think the weather is rough. I mean, it all depends on when the weather hits, like on Thursday and Friday, because there are going to be thunderstorms throughout the day. It's not like it's going to be all day things. It's going to be pop-up cells here and there. And so if you're hitting the ball well and hitting fairways and you have like a weather delay and come back out to a soft golf course, you have perfect scoring conditions. But if you get caught right before a storm and it starts gusting, start to get spit on, and you're missing fairways, you could see your scores go south in a hurry. And so there's definitely weather to look at. I would assume as we get closer, especially knowing that it's in Ohio, getting into the summer months, that they're going to be pop-up cells in the afternoon. So there could be a potential wave advantage. But again, it's the weather. We'll have to check it out a little later in the week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, right. So we're late spring, early summer, whatever you want to call it. So these aren't your storm systems that are going to be just there all day. At least what I'm looking at right now. It's a unpredictable, time frame, and we well versed in the weather the last couple of weeks down here in the South. It's too hard to predict, and these things can move 3 hours off. And so nothing I would lean towards flights. The bigger deal to me, and I know we'll get into it here next with stats, is the already penal thick rough. If it gets even more wet and
yeah,
that's where hitting fairways become even more of a premium.
For sure.
You brought up a great point, and I made notes of this to make sure people understand that, so any stat engine you're using, obviously we use fantasynational.com. You be careful with stats this week, because you may go look at fairways gained. You really, at least in my deep dive, what I'll focus in on are what tournaments are they coming from, because you may have guys that, because of the club down part that you brought up, which is 100% accurate, is that fairways gain may not be as strong for someone as what they potential be because of a lesser club. So they may be looking at, and it's going to be impossible to nail it down, but it's something I'll take into consideration, like a Stinson, a Woodland, someone I know that can club down and be more accurate may take a tiny bump as we get towards the week. But as far as waves on the weather, nothing yet. Obviously, as we get to Wednesday, we'll update all of that. Right now, I think it's summer, springish type storms. It's unpredictable to time, and I really don't think it'll be a washout by any means, but it's gonna be something they're dealing with. And it's too hard, like you said, if they get delayed by 4 hours during a round, then the flights you thought you were getting advantage on are gone, right? Who knows? With that, Ruvy, kick us off on what stats are you keying on right now?
Yeah, I think that last week it showed that our last year, showed here with the three guys that were in the playoff last year, that approach and ball striking are going to be very, very big here. So I have an approach and ball striking, and then around the green, like Buck said, with the greens being a little smaller than average. I have around the green bumped up there as well. And then my proximity from 150 to 175 and 175 to 200, I think will be big, but that's also built into the approach and ball striking numbers that I have as well. And I've got my usuals of birdies gained, DK points, and bogey avoidance. A couple are small ones that built in, but those are the main ones I'm looking at.
Bucks, what other than you mentioned, anything else you're looking at particular?
Yeah, for me, when you look at what it takes here to win, or I guess what this course compares to like the average tour course, there are less greens hit here, a smaller percentage of up and downs here, and then there's a ton of fairways hit here compared to the average tour course. So for me, it shows me that you have to be good pretty much at all facets of the game, and that goes for every tournament, obviously. So I'm going to be looking at the overall game, so strokes gained just in general. And then I'm going to have a heavy focus on approach and then short game statistics. So you're talking about strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting, which are all rolled up into one stat on Fantasy National. Strokes gained short game. And then I'm going to be looking at something I like to do when I know that there's going to be a smaller amount of greens being hit, is putting within 10, 15 feet. Because you're going to have to make a lot of par putts to compete in an event like this. And that obviously some of the smaller sets I have, I'll look at bogey avoidance too, because those kind of play into each other. But the big ones for me are just overall game approach and then short game statistics.
Yeah, I mean, that's, probably be a rinse and repeat for most of the industry this week. So then a follower or listener may say, how do I get my advantage? And if everybody's going to get the same shit, and that's a valid point. And it really comes down to, I had a talk last week with a listener or a member of the community. And, and I said, I don't use every statistic or every angle the same for every player. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, especially in a tournament like this, where you have an elite field, you're picking hair. I mean, there's no clear advantage on statistics. Everybody's going to look at ball striking approach, fairways gained to an extent, something around the green, whether it's scrambling, short game, whatever. I don't know if you guys said bogey avoidance, but that's something I'll look at in a tournament that I think is going to be a lower scoring or higher scoring, depending on how you do it, -10, -13 type winner. This is a rare tournament that I'll bump the course history, because it seems to be guys that play well here do it normally. They have it's not that they won't ever miss the cut, but there's a better chance if a guy likes this setup and course, they do better. So I will bump it. Your first timers, I don't necessarily penalize them per se, but a guy that's, one we'll get to in later, like a Kokrak, right? That's going to be an ultimate course history versus recent form guy.
Yeah.
And I'll look at his stats different than I will Woodland. So I don't weigh all the stats the same for every player. And I know that probably sounds dumb, but I don't, because I also have to know the player myself, and I make distinctions on how I think the course in the tournament's going to play out and how that favors or doesn't favor said golfer. Yeah. And so,
that's a great point you bring up, because honestly, I'm not a huge course history. That's the be all end all, but I do believe that, especially in a course like this, it's a very tree-lined golf course. Visually off the tee, it has clear sight lines. Certain players get comfortable in those type of situations. And like you mentioned, a guy like Kokrak, and I believe he's a completely different player this year. But if you got a decent guy, I don't know, let's just say it's Tiger. Let's just say Tiger missed this cut 4 or 5 straight years, but he's dominated elsewhere. That would show you that he doesn't like the way this course sets up visually off the tee, coming into the greens. That's not the case for Tiger. He's won here 5 times or something like that. But as for a Kokrak, if he was playing really great golf leading up to this event the last 4 years, and he just happens to miss the cut every single time, that would be an indicator that this does not suit his eye, and he does not like playing this golf course.
Right. And, with him, I currently, and this is part of the deep dive I do on Tuesday, I will go look back and see what was his form coming in when he's missed a cut.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it's been, well, he just sucked and he continued to suck, then it's not as big of a deal as now he's playing probably the best golf of his career, and I'll have to weigh that differently than I do others. With that, if we started our new segment called the Dirty Dozen. We have 4 tiers. Each tier contains 3 picks. The first tier is 9K or above. The second tier is 7,600 to 8,900. The third tier is 7,500 or less. And the fourth tier is going to have 1 flop. This is a guy, any price, doesn't matter, just won't return value this week. 1 fade, which is a guy we could like and be on. We're just going to fade him because of the course doesn't fit his eye. So Kokrak, ownership's going to be crazy. So we're gonna fade that guy because it looks like we project him. Blah blah blah. And then a sleeper like usually 6,900 or less, and then we're rolling to some rapid fire and round table after that. So we'll kick it off with the first tier, 9,000 or above. Bucks, give me 3 guys in that range you're eyeing right now.
Yeah, so I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. My first pick this week, and one of my favorite golfers, but one of my favorites this week is going to be Finau at 9,600. He has been playing great golf. He is consistent. He has the game. I really wanted to see how he played last week because it's not a wide open golf course, fairly tight. You have to hit some fairways there. You got to keep it in play, make things happen, and he did that. And so I really like the way Finau's game is coming into this event, and he has 3 top 15s in his last 4 years here. So it's a course he's familiar with. He loves playing this event. I'm going to be playing Finau. He's going to be my first pick in that range. The second guy, which is a guy literally everybody's going to be on this week, is Patrick Cantlay. Might be one of the hottest golfers on the planet. Been playing out of his mind. Has played here a couple times last year. Had top 5 here last year. And so I really like the way he's playing. His stats are off the chart as well. He's second behind the next guy, which is going to be Rory. It's self-explanatory. He's the best player in this field right now. Drives the ball fantastic. Great iron player. Good short game. Can get streaky hot with the putter. He's played this event 3 times in the last 6 years. 2 top 10s and a top 15. So those are going to be my 3.
Ruvy, what say you?
Yeah, my first one's – I'll start from the bottom as well then. I'm going to a past well, never mind. I don't know if he won, actually. I don't want to misspeak there. But Hideki, an elite ball striker, obviously we all know.
20
Hideki did win.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just didn't want to – I thought he did here. But, yeah, he hasn't lost strokes on approach since the PGA Championship in 2018. So his iron game is there, and somehow the dude won. He made 4 strokes at the PGA Championship, and I know that hurts you, Gup, because like when he should gain 4 strokes, he should win. And I know you were all over him at the PGA, but his game is there. So Hideki would be my first guy. My second guy, this might go to one of your guys' points where the course history kind of guy that plays is not really playing well right now, but I'm going to go with his course history, and that's going to be Ricky Fowler. I was obviously on him last week, and that didn't work out too well. He was not very good. But before that, he's actually been playing some pretty good golf. He was 4th at the Wells Fargo. 36th at the PGA was okay, but then 9th at the Masters also. So Ricky Fowler, I'll get back on him to bounce back from that missed cut. The last one is another bounce back for me, and it's going to be Tiger. I think that the PGA miscut was a little bit of rust driven, where he didn't play since the Masters, and now he's going to play obviously before the U.S. Open. I think this is a good primer for him, but I will definitely be on Tiger because he has been the best maybe with his irons in golf this year. If you look at all of it, I think he's like number 1 in greens in regulation, number 1 in approach, I think, but Tiger will be my last one. How about you, Gup?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I will say, and I'll write tomorrow on that, this is a tournament that my player pool and how I move will get decided in the next 48 hours. Obviously, we got to come on here and do a show and be well prepared, but I do think the industry will be on certain guys. And, last week on the Final Thoughts, I said that I had Casey as my number 1 projected, and I distinctly said this may be a case where everybody got on him because they thought he was going to be, ownership, and they pivoted thinking he was going to be the highest, and he wound up and he's going to wind up being a lot less than what people think, and that's exactly what happened. I could see that with Cantlay as well this week. I'm sure he's going to be talked over. He's number 1 in my model. Obviously, I've been on Cantlay train for a long, long time. So right now, he's one of my top 3. So I'm on him. I expect him to get hyped like crazy, be projected at whatever ownership. The interesting part with him, as opposed to someone like Casey, who was egregiously underpriced last week, or is that he's up there with Tiger, Rory, Rose, and so Fowler. I don't know if the quote unquote public, not as intense guy will see Patrick Cantley in 5 figures and go, let me hit that. I think that could keep him down a little bit, but in our bubble, it's going to seem like that's all people are talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree. I'm on Finau. I like him a lot this week. Very close between those two. He's a lot cheaper. I can see a lot. I'm not real impressed with the 6,000s this week, so I can see a balance build being very common this week, which would put guys like Kuchar, Finau, Matsu, Stinson, those kind of guys in play, and people fading the top and just kind of seeing how it works out. But, historically, this tournament is won by pretty elite, OWG. I'll probably be paying attention to Kenny Kim this week because he'll throw out some shit that I don't – he's good at that stuff, so I take a look at it. But the last guy, I'm on him now. I'm interested to kind of see – I assume he's not playing this week unless he's healthy because this is not the right damn course to get on with the bad wrist.
Let's get it. JT.
I thought about that too. That's a good call. I like it.
I will be all on JT if he's going to be – people are going to worry. People are going to hear about tough, rough. And that's in the tournament for him to come back if he's not healthy. So if – it's hold your nose and jump in type of deal. But as of now, I think it's a spot that I can gain leverage and be kind of chalky elsewhere. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out by Wednesday. I do like him.
Especially at that price, man. That price is crazy.
Yeah, he's for his talent, he's way underpriced. But we know there's concerns there. But he's got a T8 and a T4 the last 2 years here.
Yeah,
so he likes the course.
Just for reference, he's top 3 price on FanDuel this week.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that worries me is does everybody filter there because he's so cheap?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's going to be
he's going to go way under on FanDuel, right?
Yeah.
Yes. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Ruvy, let's have you kick off 7,600 to 8,900.
Yeah, thank you. My first one in the 76 to 8,900. Is going to be Kyle Stanley. I'm going to start at the bottom. The guy got second here last year in the playoff. It's going to be a theme. I think I've got everybody that was in that playoff except for the eventual winner this week. But Kyle Stanley, I was on him at the PGA. That was his miscut. He had a bad second day. I think he got a little bit of the bad weather draw, but I like the way Kyle Stanley game is coming together. We obviously know he's a good iron player. And this is a question we could talk about later. I've seen people that play good here and Bucks, you can answer this better than I can, play good at Phoenix, by the way, which doesn't seem like a corollary course to me, but
yeah, I can't. I mean, I don't know. The greens they both have undulating greens, but there's like 2 trees in the entire.
No, I know
city.
there's no trees, and I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I mean, if there's a correlation, there's a correlation, but I just can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking. I mean, just thinking off memory, Woodland, Fowler, Stanley all play well at Phoenix, but
yeah,
Matsuyama. So that's another one. So, but we'll get back to that, I guess, later. But second guy I like is actually, like you said, got before. I really like Gary Woodland. I'll be interested to see where his ownership comes in this week. But Gary Woodland is a guy that I like a lot this week for everything that you've said in the past, Cup. I think this course fits him well. I've drawn that Phoenix thing too a little bit, but yeah. The last one I'm going to say is Adam Scott as well, right below Gary Woodland at 8,700. I was on him at the PGA. I'm going to get back on him. He putted marginal at the PGA, and he finished good. So I hope he's going to be putt marginal again, and I will be back on Adam Scott again because I think he's a great iron player, and he's decent around the green if he's not putting. So,
Bucks, who you like here?
Yeah, so I'll start at the bottom. Again, it's going to be 7,600 Keegan Bradley. I another one of those guys that I looked at the golf course without diving into the stats, and I was like, he should play well here. He hits the ball straight, solid iron player. Just please, for the love of God, don't jump off the train tracks for one round and you'll be okay. But when I dove into the stats and looked at how he's playing right now, which is good, he also, in his last 4 years, he's played the Memorial 4 times, 2 top 10s and a top 25. And so he has history at this golf course. He likes the way that it looks. I think he plays better on golf courses like this, tree line, clear sight lines. So I really like Keegan Bradley this week. And when you look at his rolling report, out of the last 100 rounds, he's been outside like the top 25 in the stat model I have once. And so I like Keegan a lot. Moving up, I'm going to take Henrik Stenson. I freaking love Henrik Stenson this week. Primarily because there are going to be guys that have to club down, hit fairways. Stenson is going to hit 3-wood anyway. And so if you put Stenson next to Rory's a bad one, but let's just say Patrick Cantlay decides to club down some this week, and you put Stenson's 3-wood next to his. Cantlay's amazing, but Stenson's iron play is awesome. I love his iron play. I think it helps him out that this is a course people hit a lot of fairways, take less than driver. I think it suits his game. I think it's going to be a big advantage for him. And when you look at his rolling report out of the last 100 rounds, 50, 24, 12, 8, I mean, he's not outside the top 20 in any of them in my stat category. So really like Stenson. And then kind of fits the same mold as like a Keegan Bradley is Gary Woodland, a guy that drives the ball really, really well. Decent iron player, again, needs to have a solid putting week, but I think that, and he plays this course well, I think that he can have another week like he had at Bethpage, where he played, showed up, gave himself a ton of opportunities. I think he'll give himself more opportunities than almost anybody in the field this week. He just has to make some of those putts. But either way, I think that he's going to be top 25. I would lock him in for that right now.
Yeah, if he putted okay at the PGA, he would have been top 5, right? I mean, I think he lost like 5 strokes putting. So,
yeah. So, I mean, starting to sound like, if anything's like our podcast, it's going to be some chalky players.
Sure.
Yeah, the 4 guys I had earmarked was Stenson, Scott, Woodland, Bradley. I kicked Bradley out at the end because I fucking hate Keegan Bradley and he never does me well. So
but we can bet him first round leader, right?
Well, if I jump off of him, that's when you jump on. But if I'm
Okay.
on him, do not be on him because he finds a way to kill me. But I mean, prototypical, of course, fits him. But just for the reason of some of his woes, I moved past him for now. I'll bring him back up in the round table. But Stenson, yeah, I think Stenson's probably going to be talked about a lot and be up there. The problem is, I kind of said this, I think in the E9 last week, the live chat Wednesday night, was that as we evolve in the golf DFS industry and there's more resources, a la, getting closer to a football type deal, you're going to get closer and closer to having to just pick your guys and play them because they're going to have so many close. I think the ownership's going to get spread out more and more. That okay, if Stenson's 19 and Scott's 16 and you'll have the outlier like Bryson maybe 8 this week. So you just got to choose. All right, do I go to Bryson and give it a chance, or do I just pick the guys and try to build the best? I think lineup construction is going to be way more important in DFS golf as we continue to get more educated people.
Oh, yeah.
Than it is worrying about the damn ownership. I said that if a guy's 19%, that means 81 out of 100 aren't using him. So there's other ways to differentiate yourself. And I think it's working on a couple things to kind of alliterate that and help as we go into the next golf season. So got some data running, weekly to help for our next kind of educational series deal. But and that's what these guys, right? Those guys are going to be talked about, but you can't, you can still be on those guys and then from 7,500 down, make some contrarian type plays to spread out and or go up top where no one's, is Tiger just not going to get talked about this week? Is everybody off Rory because he's the highest? We haven't even mentioned Justin Rose. So there's places to make your lineup different. So don't get scared off of a guy just because you hear his name 6 times on a podcast, more than doing your own research or using our tools that we have for sure. And the feedback there to go, I got to play the best 6 guys to give me a chance to win. Because if they don't win, then it really doesn't fucking matter what their ownership was, right? We talk about that every week, but it's a good time to reemphasize that as we're kind of going over the same guys. So those are my 3 with Stinson, Scott, Woodland. I'm going to go ahead and lead off the 7,500 or less. Probably the one guy that I may be the only person on, which is fine. But I actually do like him this week, and he came in high on the model, and it's Neiman. Obviously, we know I was on him last week. Didn't get to use it to my advantage because of the well talked about miscuts and all that. But 7,300. He's 21st in my stat model. Last year, he played this course really well. T6, gained 9 strokes, I think, for the whole tournament. Coming in here, he missed a cut at PGA, but that is what it is. So outside of that, T38 at Wells and T31 last week, pretty good for a $7,300 guy. We know the ball striking approach for him can be there. So I think it's to his advantage that he gets to club. He's a guy that I would classify that he gets to club down, just put it in the fairway and not have to go 20-something under to win this thing. Those are all things that I like for him. And his plus-minus splits on his putting isn't terrible. They're not great, but they're enough where I think he may go under the radar. And so he's a guy in this range I'll go after. I'm going to go back to Russell Knox. I was on him last week. I like him again this week, 7,100. I mentioned earlier, I don't like a lot of guys in the 6,000. So I think spreading out some ownership here in this 7,500 to 7,000 range is going to be important this week. And maybe I'm the only guy that didn't like the 6,000. There's a couple guys in the 6,000, but I think a lot of people are going to camp out in the 7,000 range. Knox is a guy that's played this last 5 years. He hadn't done anything great, 18, 64, 65, 44, but at 7,100, 5 straight years, and he likes the course. If he just makes the cut, I can kind of take an advantage. He does putt really well on bent compared to others, so I do like that as well for him. And my last guy, jumped on him last week some. Thought it was going to pay out really well. It would have. Was Griot. I like him. T19, T23, T33, his last 3 tournaments, RBC and Wells Fargo's in that. PGA's in that. Played this. This will be his 4th year. He's got an 11th, a 40th, and a 23rd. Obviously, a place where he can club down and just put it in the fairway is an advantage for him. So at 7,900, I like Griot as well. Kind of round out that for me. Bucks, who you like down here low?
Yeah, so I'll start at Nick Watney at $6,700.
You're still
Been rounding into form. One of the things that I always look at is not only my stat model, but stat model in terms of rolling reports. So how are they trending? What's the direction? And he's been playing better of late.
Was leading the tournament by 2 or 3 strokes tee to green Saturday night. The whole tournament, not just like the whole damn tournament. I kept riding him, but he just could not make a fucking putt to save his life.
Nope.
But tee to green, he was leading the whole tournament by 2 or 3 strokes. It's crazy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. He's played this course 3 times the last 5 years, hasn't missed a cut. And for $6,700, I think that's super value. Next guy up is going to be a guy that I was big on last year, and he was a guy that I loved to play on the Euro Tour, and that's Peter Uihlein. Played well last week. Another guy trending in the right direction. Actually, he's played really, really well here in the past. When you look at his past statistics, he has a top 25 in 2017 and a top 5 in 2018. So I really like that. And then the next guy is going to be not a guy that I would say is rounding into form, but he's been really steady, and he really likes this golf course, and that's Kevin Streelman at 7,400. Really like Streelman this week. I think he's kind of right in between this range of like the Bennions, the Hoffmans, the Ryan Moores, the CH3s, and then you got like Haotong above him. I think he's kind of sandwiched into this range where ownership's going to be really spread out. So I really like Streelman this week.
Ruvy, who you like?
Well, I was gonna save Watney for later. I love Watney, but I'm not gonna do that one right now. But I like that one, Bucks. The first one, I'll start at the bottom. Adam Hadwin, I really like. I think he's actually kind of rounding into a little bit of form right now. Last 3 tournaments since he missed the cut at the Valspar, he's been 48th at the RBC, 38th at the Wells Fargo, 29th at the PGA. He's been getting really better and better every week in those weeks on his approach, which is nice to see. And in his around the green, he's been really well. So he putted really bad, below average at the PGA, but I know that he likes bent greens. So Adam Hadwin is a guy that I like. He has a top 20 here before as well. I think it was a top 15. The next guy I like, Bucks, you mentioned him. I love Charlie Hoffman this week. Charlie's been playing a lot better recently. He went through a little bit of a stretch, obviously, but Charlie hasn't missed a cut since the Players. And in that span, he has 3 top 20s, including last week. He got a 13th at Charles Schwab. Now, I know he plays well in Texas, but he also hasn't lost on approach since the Players also. So he's playing really well with his irons. So Charlie Hoffman. The last guy I'm going to go back, I've said it before, that the guys in the playoffs I liked. I'm going to go back to the Benny Onwell. He had one bad round last week. I think it was Saturday. Shot +8 or whatever. Like, that was bad. But rebounded back nicely on Sunday with a -1 round. Benny On is second here last year in the playoff, lost to Bryson. But Benny On is at 7,400. I feel like that's pretty good price. He might get talked up, though, to be honest, because of that price and being second place last year. But
did he finish dead last week?
No, not even close.
Okay.
Graham McDowell shot like +32 on the weekend. He got 68th, so there was like 75 people.
Oh, okay.
He was really bad on Saturday. He was in second to last going into Sunday, but he shot -1 on Sunday. So
I knew he was down there.
Yeah. He was fine except for the one day. Like I said, you take out that one day, he shoots even par on that one day, and you can't do that, obviously, but one bad day that's one Keegan round, right? So
don't remind me.
So, but that was
I think down here will be where it'll be really spread out. So you can, guys we didn't even talk about, we'll get to probably in the round table that, I like most of the guys you guys said, but you got Hatton, Abraham Answers, a great bent grasping putter coming in, for him. Furyk, just Mr. Consistent. He'll find the fairways. He's missed the last 2 cuts, but played well. But there's a lot of guys in this 78 and under where you can go to fill your roster. And so if you're going to, don't worry about the guys up top, play who you like, and then come down here and just spread it out, right, and rotate it in. On's another one. Like you said, he's on my short list, great course history. He's like Matsu, still can't putt, but Kyle Stanley, one of you guys mentioned earlier, he's up in top 20 for me. So there's a lot down here that you're getting value on because of the big boys up top, that you can make your, differentiate yourself. So we're going to go into, before we round table up, rapid fire. I'm going to give you guys a matchup. 2 guys, no color, no add-on, just who do you like? Maybe 1 or 2 words if you want, real quick. Try to pick guys I didn't think we may or may talk about, or ones where I think it's going to be key positions or pivot positions for the week. Rose or Fowler? Bucks, we'll start with you.
Rose.
Fowler for me.
I'm gonna go Rose because I think ownership he could have an advantage there. Finau or Cooch? Bucks.
Finau.
Finau.
Love both, but Finau's the one I'd go there. Guy we haven't mentioned yet, Jason Day or Matsu?
Jason Day for me. Jason Day.
Matsu for me. Jason Day's never been top 20 here.
Yeah,
no commentary, Ruvy.
He said a couple words.
Matsu for me, but Day's in my pool as of now. Woodland or Scott, Bucks?
Woodland.
That's a tough one. I'll go Scott for ownership reasons.
Yeah, I think both are in play. I lean Scott right now. Stinson or Nah, the winner last week? Bucks.
Stenson
for me.
Me as well, Stinson. But I do think this course sets up for Nah to come back and play strong again. We've seen it all year. Winners come back and play good.
He's been playing well too.
Dude's gonna be cruising in his 73 Challenger with his caddy somewhere.
Yeah. Bucks, Stanley or Glover?
Oh Jesus. Stanley.
Ruvy, I think you're on Stanley. But yep. I'm Stanley as well, but I think Glover could be a way under-owned pivot there for a lot of people. Last one before we get some round table. Keegs or List, Bucks?
Keegan, baby. Guaranteed top 10.
Yeah, Keegan. List gained 7 strokes putting at the PGA Championship.
I would lean Keegan right now as well myself. So final roundtable roundup before we get into betting strategy and picks there. 2, 3, 4 guys, who you like that we haven't mentioned or has been lightly mentioned. Didn't really fit one of the categories, so just want to add on some color before we wrap it up. And then any price range, must play, stone cold lock of the week. I need one guy when you wrap it up. Did
we do our flop, Gup? Did you want to do the flop too?
Oh, I did miss that. My bad.
Yeah. Before we get to that, JB, Nah did withdraw. Yeah, Nah's gone.
Oh.
He is cruising that Challenger with his caddy somewhere.
Dude, that is a sick car. Such a sick car.
Yeah.
Nah's out.
Yeah, so we'll start with Ruvy then. One flop, one fade, one sleeper, like I said earlier. Who's your flop?
Flop, I'm going to go with Bryson, which is contrary to what I've said on the other stuff, but Bryson DeChambeau. We did get some information from a good friend of ours that says that he's kind of going through some personal things, and I don't want to – his game hasn't been there either. And at 8,900, I can literally pick 5 guys above him and 5 guys below him that I would rather play. I guess not now, but Bryson would be my flop. The fade, I'm going to look at ownership. I don't want to fade Cantley, but if he's up there in ownership, I might, just because that's how stupid I could be sometimes. So, but Cantley or Kuchar, I'm leaning one of those two, just because I can't play everybody, and one of those two, they seem to be pretty highly owned. The one sleeper, my only one that I had, because like you said, Gup, I don't really like the 6,000 range right now, but the one guy I had circled was Nick Watney as well. So, and then Bucks covered him pretty well. So,
Bucks, who you got?
Yeah, I think there's something off with Bryson right now. So he was going to be one of my avoid players. The other one that was on my list, and I don't necessarily think it's just somebody that I'm going to fade. I don't think his ownership is going to be super high because of everybody in this range, but Benny on been trending in the wrong direction for me. Hasn't been playing well. Something doesn't seem right. He does like this course, so I'm interested to see him come back, but I'm not gonna play him with the way that his game is right now. And then my value of the week is going to be Vaughn Taylor at $6,200. Dudes, for $6,200, the guy's been playing super consistent golf. Again, for his price range, I think he represents extreme value this week.
Yeah, my flop is going to be Spieth. You get off the tee here. Obviously, he's got the buzz back in the DFS, and we're not even going to get into the whole putting battle because I could care less. But I just worry about if he can't find the fairways here, how, it's going to hurt him a lot. So I just don't think he'll return the value. I think he's closer. I don't have anything against him by any means. I just, until I can see him off the tee strong. This is not a place where you want to be blowing it off the tee left and right by any means. Yeah. I hadn't heard anything on the Bryson deal, but I just saw 3 minutes. So it's like Bryson and Kokrak are two. I mean, they're flip flop. So Bryson's got great course history, but 3 missed cuts in a row. And a guy with him, for me, he's such a mental, grinder that if something's off like that, I worry about how long it'll take to click more than a natural field player, right? Because all it can take is one swing for some guys and they find it. I think he could overanalyze, which I do in myself a lot, so I can relate to an extent. But 3 missed cuts, 8,900. I do think he's going to be really low owned. So, he could be a potential pivot. My sleeper, I was surprised no one else said him just because he seems like he's just going to stand out like a sore thumb, is Lingmerth. Obviously, 6,300.
He was my round table.
I like him a lot. My backup was going to be Ryder if one of you guys said him. I like Sam Ryder this week as well. I do worry about his putting, but, Lingmerth, 6,300, I got a guy that just like Buck said to start the show, he just loves this course, right? Yeah. So if he's super comfortable off the tee, all he's got to do is make the cut, and he's made way more value than we need. So
for sure.
Just haven't seen him much lately, though, right? I mean, I guess he played the Byron,
yeah. I mean, yeah, but you show up to a place you love, I'm thinking I'm going to hear a lot of them in the industry. We'll see, because I'm not going to play a chalky 6,300, but we'll see how that rolls. So Ruvy, let's go to the round table. Give me 2 or 3 guys not really mentioned, and then your one Cole must play of the week.
Cool. So 2 or 3 guys we didn't mention. Last week, one of these guys was Finau, right, for me in this segment, so it worked out well. Sung Kang is who I want to mention. That dude has been very, very good lately. And I'm not usually a Sung Kang guy, but obviously winner at the Byron Nelson, followed it right back up with the top 10 at the PGA. We know what Sung Kang is. Sung Kang is a decent wedge or a decent iron player, but when he gets hot with a putter, look out. Like, he could get really hot with a putter. But at his price, I'm not sure if people are going to play him. So, but he does have that name recognition recently. So the next guy I wanted to mention, I know we had mentioned him a little bit, was Luke List, and not for good reasons. I think he's going to pop in people's models. He's coming off a top 10 at the PGA. He got 6th there. I've never in my life thought I would see Luke List gain over 7 strokes putting in a tournament. And he did that at the PGA. And that's just not repeatable to me. And I know people, I'm not, like you said, Gov, I'm not getting into the putting discussion right now about Spieth, but Luke List is a way worse putter than Spieth, and 7.2 that way on bent. I just don't see it for Luke List this week. So my lock of the week, I'm going to go with my lock of the week. I'm going to go with Tiger. I think I have him in one of my one and dones. I might use him, but Tiger's my lock of the week. I think he gets back on track after the miscut.
Bucks.
Yeah, a couple guys. We've briefly mentioned him, but we haven't really got into him. Is Kokrak. He is, like you mentioned, Gup, kind of a interesting little topic right now at this course, because he has been playing really, really good golf recently, like really good. I think he has 22 straight cuts made, something like that, something crazy. And has a bunch of top 10s this year, top 25s this year, that kind of thing. But he has atrocious course history. And so is that, for me, it's going to come down to, do I think people will be looking at course history, weighting that at all? At his price, do I think that people are going to gravitate towards him because there's no more I don't think people are going to be on Kisner or Phil this week. And so getting a 15% or more Kokrak is a little worrisome. But that's one of the things that you have to look at. I personally rate recent form higher than course history. I think he's a different player now. I'm going to be playing him, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. The next guy that I wanted to mention, just because I don't like him this week, is Kevin Kisner. Same with Phil Mickelson. I don't think that they're in the right I don't think they're playing well right now. I think Mickelson hasn't found that driver yet, been fooling around with different shafts, trying to find the one that fits his swing right. And it's still all over the map. And like you said, you don't want to be missing the fairways here at a higher clip than needed. Kisner, again, hasn't been hitting his driver well. And when you're short and crooked here is not a good combination. So those are just a few guys that I wanted to mention. The other interesting one real quick was Boo Weekley. Boo Weekley, in the PGA Tour events that he's actually played in, he's played well. He's played in a bunch of web stuff and this and that, but in the actual tour events that he's played in, I think he has like 3 straight cuts made, which is pretty crazy for a $6,000 guy. But moving to the lock of the week, that's going to be Patrick Cantlay. I think he wins, breaks through this week. Really love the way his game suits this course. He likes this course. He's recent forms fire. So I'm all over Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned earlier, Jason Day for me is going to be on my radar. Cheaper price. He's right there in the pricing around him that I just foresee him going way overlooked. T5, T24, T23 the last few weeks that he's played. He's made 4 out of 5 cuts here. This is a hometown narrative type deal. He loves being up here. I don't think he lacks the focus per se, but normally he's really high price coming in this event. And so now he's still up there, but he doesn't have to win by any means. A top 10 at 9,200, especially DK scoring, he could be right there in the mix. We know short game is going to be big this week, and he's got one of the best. So I like Day. A guy that just kind of right there on the bubble of the sleeper area is Dahman. Obviously I'm big on Team Dahman. Sounds like we may have a chance to even get him on the podcast. Great guy, very active with the community, which I love. He'll be in my player pool for sure as of now, but I can see him playing well. Definitely playing some of his best golf right now, and so coming in here $7,000, one of those filler guys that as you start building. The only thing that worried me is he's not played this course, but game's been really well. Did miss the cut last week. I'm not too worried about that, but he's a guy that's on my radar. Another guy right there, kind of in the same area. Game's been up or down. He does like this course and has played it. This is a staple of Bucks as well. From time to time is Harold Varner, HV3.
Yeah.
6,900. If I got to dip down in there, he's a guy I'll take a look at. T36 at the PGA, obviously was in with Brooks. Just when you got a grinder course like this, he's a guy that's got a carefree attitude, and doesn't let him bother him. He could easily miss a cut as quick as he can top 5. We've seen that.
Yeah.
But played it here twice. T19, T57. I'll definitely be on him. My lock of the week, who I think breaks through and gets rid of wins an actual mainstream PGA event, is Finau. I think he's coming into form. Definitely started off the season a lot rockier than what most thought. I saw enough good things last week that if he can what I do like about him is that I think club down for him next week will be a good thing, because we saw him not hit as many fairways last week and still finish second. He loves this place. He's got an 8th, an 11th, a 40th, a 13th. I just like him across the board. I'm hoping that Kuchar will take some of those guys around here would take some ownership off of him. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole range plays out with Day, Thomas, Kuchar, Matsu, Finau. I mean, it's just loaded with talent. Spieth is there. He's going to garnish ownership now that he's kind of turning his game back around. So could be a great week, for Finau, Cantley. Probably a pretty popular pairing if you're going to fade the 10K. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. We're going to roll into our betting strategy. We'll start out with our favorites, 40-1 or less. I'll kick it off. Kind of already mentioned it down here. I don't know if I'm going to go down here. I may go low and then pair up with some bigger odds. But I like Cantley. He's 20 on 5 dimes, which I think he's 16 on Bovada.
Yeah,
so
16, yep.
Matsu, one of those two is definitely could be a choice. Adam Scott and Woodland around 33-ish. So those 4 are all of my short list to make my final card. If I'm going to drop this low, when you got guys like Tiger, Rory, and all that, it's almost worth just either taking a few risks and a few jumps and hoping they pay off. I won't go big this week because I'm not gonna go down to Rory or Tiger. Bucks, anybody you like this low?
Yeah, a couple Cantlay, Finau, and Woodland. Woodland has the best odds, 33 or something like that. But I think Cantlay or Finau, one of those two wins. So,
Ruvy?
I got Scott penciled right now at 33. So that's the only one I have.
I like Scott. I do. I mean, it's like a routine check now. What putter is he using?
Yeah, no, it is.
He
He used the shitty one at PGA and still was marginal.
Yeah, but last week he had the long one at PGA, didn't he?
I thought he had the short one.
No, he had the long one.
At least one day he had the long one. So
he switches from day to day that bad.
Yeah, right. Ruvy, kick us off 45-75 then.
Yep. Benny on at 66. I've got Kokrak at 66 as well. And 40. Yeah, that's it. Those are the only two I've got marked in there right now.
That was my free play of the week for the non-subscribers. Was Benny on was still 100-1 on 5 dimes. So I
don't know. I was jumped on and tried to look for that. I couldn't get that. So I thought that was at least worth a sprinkle. I released it to the community earlier, but yeah, if you can get on 5 dimes, that's 34 percentage point or 34 points advantage there. It's huge. My local won't take 5 dimes. He only takes Bovada. So
gotcha. Bucks, anybody sticking out to you?
No, I don't have anybody in this range that I like. The one guy I do want to ask you guys about, because I don't think we talked about it, was Usti.
Yep.
Yeah, his price this week, or are you going to be playing him? Back to DK. Are you guys going to be playing Usti this week?
I probably won't, but I don't usually play him in the first place.
No, and when you mentioned Kokrak, that was one thing. He did withdraw last week. I don't think there was any injury concerns, but there was a lot of it last week to keep up with. Usti's there for me. He's top 27, I think. He likes this place. All right, he played well last year. Definitely, being that layup off the tee type of mentality, he can play. A lot of people will probably be worried about playing him, finding out on the injury, but certainly worth a look. If you're going that route. He's right there in that honey zone of the mid 8s that he could be a good pivot.
For sure.
I like Stenson a lot. I think, like you said, Bucks, if he just finds a putter at all, he can win this thing. And I think he's 50 is what I got him at. I know that's moving down.
He's 40 on Bovada.
Yeah, so he's on my short list to add the card. He's still 50 on 5 dimes, so I could, if I'm going to do that, I'll probably lock it in tonight. Griot, 55, maybe. I do like him a lot this week for DraftKings. I don't know if I see him winning yet. And then I may fade Kokrak this week, but he could be a guy I bet to just kind of hedge. He's 70 last I looked, so I definitely like him. I'll kick off 80-120. I like a lot of guys down here, so I'll probably sprinkle, especially depends on how I go up top. I like Keegan. He's a guy that, again, Kokrak times 2. I may not play him in DraftKings because I can't stomach it right now, but I'll bet him. I don't have the odds. I think he was 100 or.
I've got 80 on Bovada for Keegan.
Yeah. So at 80, that's a good number for him. Stanley is a guy you guys mentioned earlier. I like his number.
Yep.
Domin at, I think, is 100 to 110. And then Answers on my short list right here. I think he was 110. I think he's going to have a breakout moment at some point. I don't know if he's there yet, but that's pretty good value for a guy I have highly rated. Bucks, you have anybody up here as long shots?
Yeah, I would say Uline or Streelman are the two guys I would be looking at. From a betting perspective, I'm not going to play him from on a DK basis, but I do think there's value at 110 or something like that. So I like those three.
Ruvy?
I've got Hoffman at 80. I'll probably play some Hoffman at 80. You mentioned all the rest of them. You can get Grillo at 66, by the way, on Bovada. That's like the only one that's like better on Bovada this week.
There we go. Ruvy, any dark horses, long shots, throw a buck on, guys?
Sure. Besides my regular JJ Spawn, who is in the tournament this week, 200 to 1. No, I do. Adam Hadwin is 125. I will definitely be on Adam Hadwin at 125. Other than that, Pat Perez kind of intrigues me, I guess, at 150. He's been playing a little bit better, but I don't think he's going to win. Or Nick Watney, sorry, 150.
Bucks, anybody you like?
Varner and Von Taylor. Von Taylor is one that I really find interesting this week, and think that his game kind of suits this course. So at whatever it was,
200, yep.
200, that's awesome.
It's a better play than JJ Spawn at 200, yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I like this area. And we'd say it every week. I still have to be able to say, can he win?
Sure.
And there's not many down here, but I think because I'm going to go a smaller card and pick one of the bigger guys, 20 to 1 type guy, whether it be Finau or Cantley or Stinson, something like that. Or Woodland or Scott. I'll sprinkle some of these guys because I can get value. I like Ryder. I think he's 250 or something. I like Lingmerth. Just likes to play. So Homa really intrigues me here. Just won T27 last week. So I don't think he's he's made the cut twice after winning. So I don't think he's kind of hung it up. 160 to 1. That just seems really good value for a guy that just won on a tour. I agree on HV3. I like him as well. So those are kind of the darts that I was on. One and done standings. Obviously $100 charity bet for the season long. Bucks at 2.42 million. Last week had Answer, won 16K. Myself 6.35. Last week I had Casey. So that's a big zero. Ruvy 3.91 million. Last week he had Finau. So pretty good little jump for you. Bucks, kick us off. Who's your one and done this week?
In hours, it's going to be Woodland. And in my second one, which is my higher performing of the three, highest performing, I'm going to go with Cantley.
Ruvy, who you like?
For ours, I'm going to go Justin Thomas, actually. I'm going to go a little risky. I feel like it's time to get a little risky. So Justin Thomas, I had a good start to the segment, obviously, with Finau, but Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I'm going to Finau. I don't have Cantley available here. I would go him, but I do have Finau, and so I like him. Stinson was on the short list as well, but I'll go Tony Finau. Ruvy, any final thoughts to wrap up your night?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this week. This will be a really fun week to watch. I do want to mention, like thinking back, and I know I mentioned already, but I don't know why Phoenix seems like a corollary course to me, but when you look at players that have played well at Phoenix, they just seem to play well here too, whether it's Benny On, is another guy that plays well at Phoenix, plays well here. So HV3 is a guy that plays well at Phoenix and plays well here.
There you go.
So those are just, it's something to look at. It's not something to really dive too much into, but something I thought about. Bucks,
any final wrap up?
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome week, man. It's obviously with the Memorial Day, it's going to be a shorter work week. So I'm pumped to watch this event. And on Thursday, I am going to be in Iowa playing in a senior tour pro-am. So that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Nice. The senior tour, PGA?
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Nice.
Principal Charity Classic.
Sweet.
I find out tomorrow night at a pairing party who my senior tour pro is going to be. I'm praying it's Chambly.
He's playing on it?
Yeah, this first event back in like 2 years or something.
That'll be awesome. As always, join us Wednesday night in the chat room. This will be a huge week with weather, possible withdrawals, whatever. More so the weather, and then I think ownership's going to be so tight and spread out and tight, if that makes sense. Within each zone, I think it's going to be tight, but I think it's going to be spread out enough that I really probably will wind up emphasizing playing the guys that you wind up landing on the most. But we never know. We'll see how that shakes out. The weather could get people on waves, and that opens up some advantages. So it'll be a big night. 9 o'clock Eastern, as always, on the actual site, gupscorner.com. There is a live chat link on there. We do it on there so that I can post the transcript afterwards. For anybody that's got plans Wednesday night, you can catch up reading it there. That's also where I debut the ownership projections for the week. So always a good time in there. 30, 45 minutes, action-packed. We hammer it out. Be fun. As always, you can join gupscorner.com right now. If you join right now, you get through Wednesday of the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which I believe is the new tournament up in Detroit. So you get 5 tournaments, and this is a weird stretch of time where you're getting 5 tournaments for basically a month, because we go day to day. That includes the U.S. Open, which will be 2 weeks from now. So tons of coverage there. We got a lot of things planned out for that week. It's going to be great. It's $14.99 a month or $119.99 a year. If you're looking for a special code, we do not have one right now. We're not running anything, but our partner and on our other hosts, we're now promoting the Fantasy DJing podcast with Kenny Kim and Tambo. So we're sponsoring that. If you go check them out in the morning or whenever they release it, they have a special code for their listeners for this week. So go check them out and you get a discount. My final thoughts, I'm not going to get anything. I just, right before we came on, I kind of had to take back. I was watching the playoffs with SMU and Clemson to get the final spot into the match play. If you don't know, the SMU golf coach is Jason Elo. His wife is Hunter Mahan's mother-in-law. Obviously, being in Dallas, I kind of knew more than maybe the average. I don't know. Maybe everybody knows about it. But she died last summer of cancer after a battle, really young, left him with 2 daughters. If you didn't get to see it tonight, go back and watch or look up just the end of that playoff and them winning and his emotions. To me, that's just what it's all about. Sports, tying into life. You could see his pure emotions coming out, what that team meant to him and helped him through probably – I can't even imagine – I don't even know how I could get through if I lost Rachel. He has 2 young kids like I do, like Bucks does. Ruvy has, we're all in the same boat. And so it was emotional. So much bickering and bullshitting and all that shit on Twitter that's the kind of stuff that I'm spending my time on, and not, I'm not on his Twitter. I'm on there, but I don't engage in idiots anymore. But that was pure class. I thought he broke down, but it was handled well. I'm pulling for him in it. I know they got an uphill battle against the Pokes. The Pokes are loaded, 1 versus 8 seed, but special things happen to special people, and that guy's a special guy. My support goes out to him dealing with what he's dealing with his 2 little girls. I think it's going to be cool to watch him. As always, join us Wednesday night. We'll see you then. Have a good one.
SmashFactor.